Most people don't ask if they're right when things are simple. They ask when the situation is messy, when emotions are involved, when the line between right and wrong isn't so clear anymore. These are true stories from Reddit. Stories where people set boundaries, made hard choices, and then stopped to wonder if they crossed a line. This is Reddit Echoes, and these are today's questions of conscience. Story 1. The emergency boob job versus emergency surgery. I'm a 34-year-old guy, and my wife is 32. We've been married for 7 years, and up until recently, I genuinely thought we were good with money. We're not rich, but we're responsible. For years, we've been saving for a home renovation that's honestly long overdue. Nothing fancy, just fixing things that are falling apart. About a month ago, I checked our account and noticed $10,000 was gone. At first, I thought it had to be a mistake. When I asked my wife about it, she didn't panic, she didn't look guilty. She just casually told me she had loaned it to her best friend for a boob job. She said it like it was the most reasonable thing in the world. She explained that her friend was depressed, struggling with her self-image, and really needed this to feel better. She called it a gift of kindness. She told me she didn't tell me beforehand because she knew I'd overthink it, and that once I understood, I'd be fine with it. I was furious, not just because of the money, but because she made that decision completely on her own. That money wasn't hers, it was ours. But I swallowed it. The money was still technically in our shared savings account, just transferred out. I figured we could rebuild it. I told myself this wasn't worth blowing up our marriage over. Fast forward to last week. My wife had a medical issue that required surgery. The doctor said it wasn't life-threatening, but it did need to be addressed quickly. When the bill came, she didn't even ask. She just assumed we'd use what was left of our savings. That's when I told her no. I said I wasn't comfortable using the rest of our renovation fund after she had already decided what that money was for without me. I told her, as calmly as I could, that maybe she should ask her best friend, the one she gave $10,000 to, for help. She exploded. She called me heartless. She said I was being petty and punishing her over something unrelated. She accused me of choosing a home renovation over her health. Her family got involved almost immediately. They called me selfish. They said a real husband wouldn't hesitate. They acted like I was letting her suffer out of spite. I told them they were more than welcome to pitch in. I wasn't stopping them, but I wasn't backing down either. She packed a bag and went to stay with her mom. Now I'm alone in the house, staring at half-finished plans for a renovation that suddenly feels irrelevant, wondering how we even got here. Part of me feels justified. Another part of me feels sick to my stomach. I keep asking myself the same question. If I give in now, am I paying for her surgery? Or am I teaching her that she can take $10,000 from our future without my consent and face no consequences? I don't know anymore. So, am I the butthole?
Story 2. The graduation joke. I'm a 45-year-old woman, and I'm child-free by choice. It's a decision I've never regretted. I've always been close to my brother and his daughter, Emily. Over the years, I saved a decent amount of money, and I promised myself that when the time came, I would help pay for her college. I wanted her to have opportunities I never had. Last month, I attended Emily's high school graduation party. It was a big family event. Everyone was there. At one point, Emily stood up to give a speech. She thanked her parents, her grandparents, her friends. Then she paused, looked directly at me, smiled, and said something I'll never forget. She thanked me for not having kids so I could spoil her instead. She joked about how nice it must be to have all that extra money and no responsibilities. The entire room laughed. I froze. I smiled because I didn't know what else to do, but inside, I felt like the floor had dropped out from under me. I've heard jokes about being child-free before, but this felt different. It felt personal. My brother laughed, his wife laughed. After the party, I pulled Emily aside and told her how hurtful that was. She rolled her eyes and said it was just a joke and that I needed to lighten up. My brother brushed it off too. He said teenagers say dumb things and I shouldn't take it personally. I spent weeks thinking about it, and eventually I withdrew my offer to pay for her college. Not because I was angry in the moment, but because I realized she didn't respect me or the sacrifices I made for her future. When I told my brother, he blew up. He called me selfish. He said I was punishing Emily over one harmless joke. Emily never apologized. Now I'm wondering if I overreacted, or if this is just the first real consequence she's ever faced. Story 3.
The lunch thief. I'm a 20-year-old woman, and I work in an office where someone kept stealing my lunch. Not just a bite, not just snacks, they were eating everything, drinking all my juice, and leaving the empty, dirty container back in the fridge. I hate when people touch my food. It's something I prepare carefully because I'm trying to fix bad eating habits and take care of myself. After it happened again, I cried in the bathroom from sheer frustration. I complained, nothing changed. So I decided to find out who it was. I spent 2 weeks preparing. I even went to a doctor, not because I was sick, but because I wanted proof that I hadn't poisoned anyone. Then I put a strong but safe dose of laxatives in my food and brought it to work. It was stolen. Again. The next day, rumors started spreading. Someone said our manager was in the hospital with severe diarrhea. That's when I realized he was the one stealing my lunches. At first, I felt a dark kind of satisfaction, then guilt, then fear. I never meant to seriously hurt anyone. I just wanted it to stop. Now I'm worried HR might connie in, even though I was the victim first. So, am I the butthole?
Story 4. I just wanted to sleep. 3 weeks ago, I moved into my boyfriend's house, and I haven't slept properly since. I work a normal 9-to-5 job. He works whenever he wants and has no sleep schedule at all. I used to go to bed around 11. I compromised and started going to bed after midnight. Some nights he wouldn't come to bed until 4, 5, even 7 in the morning, and every time he did, he'd wake me up. Lights on, noise, in and out of the bedroom. I tried sleeping in the guest room. He followed me there instead. I've been getting maybe 5 hours of sleep a night for weeks. I feel broken. Last night, I left a note asking him to be considerate because I had a doctor's appointment early. I fell asleep around 11:30. He came in 3 times while I was sleeping. Drunk. He turned on the light, pulled off my eye mask, made jokes, said he was having strippers over. I begged him to let me sleep. I ended up on the floor crying. I left the house planning to sleep in my car. He begged me to come back. I did, and it started all over again. By 2 in the morning, I lost it and knocked everything off the dresser. A lamp broke. I'm ashamed of that. But I can't live like this. I'm getting a hotel tonight and looking for a place to move out this weekend. I feel terrible for breaking things, but I feel worse knowing I'm being pushed to this point. Story 5. I'm German. I'm a German woman born and raised in Germany. While traveling, I stayed at a hostel and met people from all over the world. At one point, someone mentioned buying a Porsche. An American woman corrected him and said he was pronouncing it wrong. Then she said, very confidently, that she was German. I laughed and said he actually pronounced it correctly. She snapped. She insisted she was German and knew better. So I switched to German and repeated the pronunciation. She didn't understand a word. She admitted she didn't speak the language and that her ancestors were German. I told her that didn't really make her German. She got angry and accused me of being elitist. Later, I heard she was telling people I was a terrible person. Now I'm wondering if I should have just let it go, or if correcting her was fair.
Story 6. Family or nothing. My wife's mother is being evicted. She's 62 and has burned every bridge in her life. She steals, she manipulates, she sabotages relationships. She once set a small fire in her apartment because she was angry at her landlord. We have 2 young kids, a small house, and 0 tolerance for chaos. My wife immediately told her she could move in, without asking me. I told my wife I'd rather her mom be homeless than live with us. That didn't go over well. I suggested paying for short-term housing, senior housing, anything else. My wife insists it's family or nothing. I'm being called heartless, but my kids come first, and I refuse to bring someone with that history into my home. So, am I the bad guy? In every story you just heard, someone thought they were justified, someone else thought they were hurt, and somewhere in the middle, the truth got uncomfortable. Maybe there are no perfect answers, only consequences, boundaries, and lessons learned a little too late. If you enjoyed these stories, there are more waiting for you here. New Reddit stories, told honestly, without filters. This is Reddit Echoes. And sometimes the hardest question isn't who was wrong, it's what you would have done instead.